Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Tuesday, November 24th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. The U.S. General Services Administration has officially declared that President-elect Joe Biden can begin his transition process to become America's new leader. President Trump also approved of the formal transition of the U.S. government to Joe Biden's incoming administration. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has named key members of his foreign policy team, nominating trusted aide Antony Blinken to lead the State Department. And British drug maker AstraZeneca says its COVID-19 vaccine developed with Oxford University appears to be up to 90% effective, based on a late-stage trial, making them the third major drug company to announce late-stage results after Pfizer and Moderna. Our top story this morning, the shift from one administration to another can now begin. The U.S. General Services Administration has officially declared that President-elect Joe Biden can formally begin the transition process. Our Kim Hyun-sing starts us off.
A major breakthrough after a weeks-long deadlock. The General Services Administration, or GSA for short, acknowledged on Monday President Trump's defeat for the first time more than 2 weeks after Biden was called as the winner. GSA head Emily Murphy sent a letter to Biden, which permits the Trump administration to coordinate with the incoming Biden team and provides millions of dollars in government funds for the transition. Murphy delayed sending the ascertainment of Biden's victory for a few weeks later than usual, but she asserted the delay was not fueled by any favoritism. Murphy's latest change of course came shortly after Michigan formally certified its election results in favor of Biden. Pennsylvania is also nearing certification as well. President Trump responded cordially to Murphy's decision. He tweeted that he thanked Murphy for his steadfast dedication and loyalty to the country. But he also maintained his position by adding his team needs to do what's necessary with regards to initial protocols and insisted his legal fight continues and his team has a strong case. Kim Hyun-sung, Arirang News.
U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has revealed some of the men and women who he wants to fill key national security and foreign policy roles from January next year. Watchers say the picks reflect Biden's pledge to have his cabinet reflect the diversity of America's population. Our Kim Hyo-sun reports.
Joe Biden, the president-elect of the U.S., named the key members of his foreign policy team, nominating trusted aide Antony Blinken to lead the State Department. Blinken served as Deputy Secretary of State and Deputy National Security Advisor during the Obama administration and has close ties with Biden. Biden has also tapped Linda Thomas Greenfield, who held a senior diplomatic post under the Obama administration, to be the ambassador to the United Nations. Biden, who has pledged to undo President Trump's America First policies, has named Jake Sullivan to be his national security advisor. Sullivan was a deputy assistant to Obama and senior policy advisor to Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2016. Biden announced that John Kerry, a former U.S. Senator and the 2004 Democratic presidential nominee, would become his special envoy for the climate. He also chose lawyer Alejandro Mayorkas to head the Department of Homeland Security, entrusting a Cuban immigrant to help reverse Trump's hardline immigration policies. Former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen has been chosen as Treasury Secretary, a historic decision that could make her the first woman to lead the department. Biden's picks also reflect his campaign promises to have his cabinet reflect the diversity of the American population. Biden's transition team explained in a statement Monday that the nominees are highly experienced, crisis-tested leaders who are ready to hit the ground running on day one. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Beginning today, the Greater Seoul area has raised its COVID-19 prevention measures to level 2, the third highest level on its 5-tier scheme. This comes as the nation reports 349 new COVID-19 cases on Tuesday, largely due to local cluster infections. Our Kim Do-yeon tells us more.
Level 2 social distancing, the third highest in South Korea's 5-tier scheme. 5 types of nightlife venues will be subject to bans on gatherings. Singing rooms must be closed after 9 p.m. Restaurants can invite customers to sit in until 9 p.m. but can only provide takeout and delivery afterwards. Wedding and funeral venues will not be able to have 100 people or more in at the same time. Religious activities, less than 20% of capacity allowed. Theaters and concert halls are required to sit audience members apart from one another, with food consumption strictly prohibited. Indoor sports facilities are required to halt operations after 9 p.m. One major change from the second wave in August in the capital area is the cafes. Once the level 2 distancing measures start, cafes will only be able to provide takeout services. And this time, local non-franchise cafes are not exempt from the measures. For independent cafe operators, the next 2 weeks could be especially tough.
For independent cafes like us that are not focused on takeout, customers like to sit in and enjoy their coffee while talking, so the impact will be huge.
Meanwhile, PC rooms with partitions will not be required to sit their customers apart and will also be able to serve food.
Previously, for the couple seats, we didn't have partitions and only had short glass screens. But with COVID-19 and the social distancing situation, we installed partitions at all seats.
A one-strike rule could halt business operations for just one violation, with a fine of up to around 3 million Korean won or around $2,700. Kindergartens, primary schools, and middle schools will have to keep their attendance cap at 1/3, while high schools will be limited to 2/3. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
British drug maker AstraZeneca says its COVID-19 vaccine developed with Oxford University appears to be up to 90% effective based on a late-stage trial. They're the third major drug company to announce late-stage results for a vaccine after Pfizer and Moderna. Our Lee Seung-jae has more on the latest developments.
AstraZeneca announced Monday that its interim analysis of its clinical trials showed its COVID-19 vaccine has an average success rate of 70% in protecting against the virus. However, a different dosage resulted in a higher effectiveness, reaching up to 90%. Trial participants who received a half dose followed by a full dose at least 1 month apart showed an effectiveness of 90%. Another trial showed 62% efficacy when giving 2 full doses at least a month apart. Combining the 2 trials, the average success rate was 70%. In addition, no hospitalizations or severe illnesses were reported among the trial participants. AstraZeneca's vaccine, developed with Oxford University, is quickly becoming the preferred choice due to its affordable price and easier distribution process. While each dose is expected to cost around $4, the vaccine will also be available on a non-profit basis to low and middle-income countries. The distribution process will be much simpler, as the vaccine can be kept in a conventional fridge used to store vaccines around the world. It also has a shelf life of up to 6 months. It's welcoming news for South Korea, as SK Bioscience has an agreement with AstraZeneca to supply the vaccines to people in South Korea. The WHO also welcomed the news. The UN Health Agency's chief scientist, Soumya Swaminathan, noted how the latest vaccine is both affordable and easy to store, which will be good for countries and people everywhere. The final analysis is expected next month. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Though COVID-19 infections continue to increase across the globe, countries in Europe are gradually easing their lockdowns. Bars and restaurants are beginning to welcome back customers, while sports stadiums are getting ready for spectators under limited capacity. Our Choi Jung-yoon has more.
After 40 days of restrictions, bars, restaurants, and cafes in Spain's northeastern region of Catalonia have been allowed to resume serving customers at tables on Monday. This comes after the region is thought to have passed a peak of contagion. New infections in Spain measured over the past 14 days have fallen to some 420 per 100,000 people as of Friday, from 530 in the first week of November. In Catalonia, the rate has dropped to around 390.
Well, it is an emotional day. At the same time, we're cautious because we don't know how we will end up. Still, I'm happy to see that the city is starting again.
Under the Catalan government's four-step plan, Phase 1, the toughest measure, includes reopening theaters, musical halls, and outdoor sports facilities to only half capacity. Restaurants must close at 9:30 p.m. to keep in line with the continuing 10 p.m. curfew. The complete stay-at-home lockdown in England will also end on December 2nd, but will be replaced by a multi-tier system of regional restrictions.
So we're not going to replace national measures with a free-for-all, the status quo anti-COVID. We're going to go back instead to a regional tiered approach, applying the toughest measures where COVID is most prevalent.
The new COVID winter plan will allow non-essential shops to open under Tier 1. Group worships, weddings, and funerals will also be possible. Outdoor stadiums can accept up to 4,000 fans or half their capacity, whichever is lower. France will also start easing coronavirus lockdown rules in the coming weeks, carrying out the process in 3 stages to avoid a new flare-up of the pandemic. President Emmanuel Macron is scheduled to give a speech on Tuesday local time, where he's expected to announce a partial relaxation of restrictions which have been in place since late October. Choi Jung-yun, Arirang News.
With K-pop superstars BTS picking up 2 honors at this year's American Music Awards, all eyes are now on whether the boy band will earn a nomination for the 2021 Grammy Awards. Our Choi Min-jung reports.
Of the 3 major music awards in the U.S., the only one left for BTS to take home is the Grammy Awards. Ahead of the Grammy nomination list being announced on Wednesday morning Korea time, BTS leader RM expressed the group's hope of getting a nod from the Grammys during a press conference promoting their latest album, B.
다음 목표나 골이 뭐냐 이렇게 질문들을 해주셨을 때 늘 언급하던 거 중에 하나였어서 저희도 굉장히 사실은 긴장하고 기대하면서 25일을 기다리고 있습니다.
With the group already earning historic achievements in the global music industry, from topping the Billboard charts to winning prestigious awards with hit songs such as Dynamite, music experts optimistically see BTS as a potential nominee.
I believe it would be difficult for the Grammys to exclude the group from the nomination altogether. With Dynamite's success, it is true that there's a high chance the group will get nominated.
The 63rd Annual Grammy Awards is scheduled for January 31st, 2021. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
Good morning. It's another cold start to the day. Morning lows were just above freezing here in the capital, but it felt colder with cold winds. Highs will rise a touch today, but it's still going to be below the season norms, but we can expect milder than average temperatures tomorrow. We have lots of clouds this morning with a dry weather advisory in place for mountainous regions in Gangwon-do province, so be on the lookout for anything that could cause a fire. But we'll have fresh air to breathe in across the country today. Skies, though, will get brighter as the day goes on. Then the highs will be going up a couple notches higher this afternoon. Gyeongju topping out at 13, Busan at 15 degrees this afternoon. Then rain is in the forecast on Jeju on Friday, while east of Gangwon-do province will see rain on Friday and Saturday. That should help to ease the dryness in the air, but will also trigger a freezing chill nationwide this weekend. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Climate change continues.